Hi peeps, welcome back to Gilly Bikes. Traffic is rubbish, so we'll get straight to the walk round and I'll talk you through what I'm on today. Stay tuned for the test ride so you can see what it's like on the move. Let's have a look around the Niken and you tell me what you think of it. So here is the Yamaha Niken. Unfortunately, I'm having camera trouble again. It's a pain in the arse for me currently with cameras, but I shall do the best I can, and apologies if it's windy. I cannot do anything about that because my microphone's just packed in on me. So hopefully the sound isn't as bad as I think it's going to be. But this is the Niken. Now, the standout feature for me is this front end. Now, I don't know who looked at that and thought, yeah, that looks nice, because well, you tell me, do you think it looks nice with your double shocks at the front, and that's on both sides? It does soak up the bumps in the road really well, so I do like it for that. But that is an ugly front end. But you don't see it when you're riding. It's just everybody else who has to suffer with it while you're riding. Now, this is not classed as a trike, so you can't just ride it on a car license and you have to wear a helmet. It is just classed as a motorbike. This is the GT version as well. So the GT version comes with the panniers. And if you have a look at these do look quite substantial. Yeah, they're a decent size. The bike is very wide, as you can see. Very wide indeed. And the panniers just make that even wider. It does come with the quick shifter. It is not something that comes as standard on these unless you get the higher spec versions. Look how wide that looks from there as well. The tank looks massive, and I don't think it is particularly big. I think it's just because we've got this fairing on at the side, and this is just making it look a lot bigger. But it does look nice, like you'll see when we're in motion and we're riding. I actually like the seating position of it. I think it does look good. Let me show you the screen itself, and you can see it isn't a fancy TFT colour screen that's going to give you maps and things. It is just the basics that you need. So we've got the rev meter going straight across the top. You've got your gear indicator. We have got your heated grips that come with this bike. They are Yamaha's own, they're not an aftermarket fit. They have got 3 settings. You've got your engine mode settings for your power. You've got your traction control settings. We've also got a clock, your total miles and your speedo, and we've even got the fuel gauge as well. So it's got everything that you need, nothing more, nothing less. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I think this is one of those bikes that only a mother could love. But it rides well, and when you sat on it, all you can see is the screen and the tank. You can't see the front end, so you don't get to see how fugly it is from the front. No issues with the seat position whatsoever. It is lovely and comfortable, as you'll see when we go and do the test ride. I'm only a short lad at 5'7.5". The half matters, absolutely. But I'm only a short lad and I've got no issues throwing my leg over this bike at all. Whilst it does look quite big and chunky from the front of it, the seat height's not particularly high. So anybody my height, maybe even a little bit shorter, will have no problem with it at all. We've got loads and loads of buttons on this. You've got your menu button, which is just over here, and then you've just got an up and down scrolling button there. You have got your lights, and we've got horns indicators, that stuff. And on the other side, it's fairly simple as you expect. It's the throttle on, so you don't want to be messing too much with buttons. We've just got your hazards, another mode button when you start and stop for the engine. I think that'll do us for the walk round. I'm gonna get my helmet back on, get some more riding done, so don't forget to join me for the test ride. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and thumbs up. Cheers guys, keep watching. What did you think of the walk round? It's I want to say it's a bit of a Marmite bike, this, isn't it? I think when you look at it, you either like it or you don't. In fact, I say that I'm indifferent. I find it more weird looking than ugly. I think it just looks strange. When you're actually sat on here, there's nothing at all that would suggest we've got two wheels down the front. Absolutely nothing at all. It just looks nice and wide here, but it just looks like a nice touring bike, to be fair. Just the view in front is quite pleasant. So I think I can confirm this is a better looking bike when you sat on it and you can't see that front. You'll have noticed it's quite a wet day today. It's not raining, but it has been, and the roads are a bit on the damp side. And I've been told that that is where this bike excels, because it has got the two wheels at the front. You've got extra grip, so it should in effect be no issue whatsoever in the wet. Yeah, it does appear to be quite good on the bends. There doesn't seem to be any twitchy at the front. There's none of that twitchy business. Something I have found as well, when you're on a bike that's a bit unusual, you do get a hell of a lot of attention. Really do. If you're out on a sports bike that you've paid 20 grand for and they look amazing, people just kind of give you a little bit of a glance and they'll admire it. But if you're on something that's a bit different, that's not as common on the road, people do want to come over and talk to you about it. And I found that already with this. You'd have seen on the walk round the seating position, and I've got to say, when you're on the move, it's really comfortable. I cannot complain whatsoever. This is more the style that I'm used to. If you've seen my previous Yamaha videos, I've got one on with the MT-09, and I've done the Tracer 9 as well. Now both of those bikes share the same engine as this, so you would expect it to be a bit punchy, because those two were lots of fun, and this seems to be very similar, even though the actual presence of it seems a lot bigger. Certainly all of this at the front seems loads bigger than the MT-09 and the Tracer. I like the simplicity of the screen. One thing I've got to stress, this bike is really well made. I mean, forget all the Gucci gadget looking two wheel at the front. It's just all the other touches and finishes, you know, all of this down here. You can't see the forks down there, you can't see any of the messy stuff. It's just all very clean lines, and it's nice. Let's just have a little wiggle around on this. Yeah, see, it's nice and light when you're on the move, and again, you cannot tell that there's two wheels there. Cannot. It just feels like any other motorbike does, any other good motorbike at that. Loads and loads of grip at the front. People see this, they give it a second look because of that weird front end. And I keep calling it weird, but it's weird because it's not what we're all used to. But that's what makes people look and look again and then stare at you. So from a safety point of view, that can only be a good thing, right? You know, people actually seeing you when you're out and about on your bike. There's another one just Going past the dog walker, he could not take his eyes off this bike. And you know, this bike's been around a couple of years now, but the look of people staring at it, it's like they've never seen one before. I don't know how good a seller this bike is, but clearly there's not many of them on the road. I think in my riding time, certainly since this bike's come out, and it's been out a couple of years now, I think I've seen one actually in the wild on the road. I don't know why, because now I'm actually riding it. I've got a bit of an appreciation for it, because if I just treat it as and I would any other bike, and give you a review as though this is just a two-wheeled motorbike, I would be telling you that this is like the previous two Yamahas I've been on. It's in fact probably even better from a comfort point of view. It's a lot more comfortable, and those bikes themselves were comfortable, but this just feels more like Goldwing type comfort, albeit a little taller, a little higher up. Let's try the quick shifter down here. I'll go down into second gear, go normal. Right, so let's try this quick shifter. Yeah, see, that was lovely and smooth. Oh, look at that. For your viewing pleasure, we have a dog taking a dump at the side of the road. It is a very wide bike, so that potentially could be an issue when it comes to filtering through traffic. The bags on the back are actually wider than the front, so you can't just see the front getting through and then presume the back will, because it is a little bit wider. We all need to give it the beans every now and then, and it's capable of it, no issues whatsoever with that. When you sat on this bike, it does everything you want it to do. The power delivery is good, it's comfortable, it feels light and flickable, which you wouldn't expect given the width of that front end. I just don't know whether I can get over the actual look at the front. Nice grippage for these wet slippy country lanes. It does inspire confidence. The front end just feels really safe and planted, and that is good for me, especially if you're riding all year round. I remember when these first came out, and the price of them was quite high. From what I remember, it was early teens. I don't know if it was 13,000-14,000, something like that. I'd have to double check. But when they first came out, for me, they seemed quite expensive. At the minute, the garage I've picked this up from, these are going for less than £10,000 brand new. They've had a dramatic price cut, and that really is a decent price. It is a lot of bike for the money. Can you deal with the look of it yourself? Me personally, I love to look at a motorbike and admire it and drool over it and look at how awesome it looks. If you've seen my Harley video, excuse the drooling on that, because I'm absolutely in love with the Sport Glide, because I think it does look awesome. It's like a work of art, and I could spend hours just sat in front of that, watching it and looking at it and admiring it and polishing it and just looking at it. It's a thing of beauty. Whereas this, I think this would be put it in the garage, shut the door and get the hell out of there. I don't look at this bike and think anything other than, why have they done that? It's a good bike. It's just, I just don't get it. Do you look at this bike and think, wow, that's an awesome machine? Have you actually gone out and bought one of these bikes? And if you have, tell me what it's like, actual long-term use of something like this. Because I mean, I keep going on about it, but when you sat on here, it is a really lovely place to be. You know, it's a very good motorcycle. It's just the looks of it, and I can't stress that enough. This is a great bike to ride. It's just not a great bike to look at. That's just my opinion, but I am interested to know what your opinion is as well, because everybody's got their own. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and you know, my eyes aren't painted on, so I can see how fugly this bike is. But some people like fugly, don't they? Or different, let's say. And if you look at that gap we've got there for filtering, now if I was on my bike I would probably have filtered right to the front. On this, yeah, no chance. It's just too wide for gaps like that. Let's just break down this bike and then we'll finish off. Power wise, yeah, it's got more than enough. The wind protection's good, the seat comfort, sitting position is good, the handling is excellent. It sounds alright, it's got the standard exhaust on. That's gonna do us. So there's my summary. I hope you like this review. It's a bit different. If you have one, let me know. But if you don't and you just want to comment on the review or the looks of it, or any assistance you can give me to make my videos better, then feel free. I'm open to change and improvement, so let me know. So for now, it's a bye-bye from me, and I'll catch you on the next one.